Hi guys, Robbie46 here. Now it is Friday the 19th of May, so it is time to check up on this week's motorbike news, and we're going to start with this, the Suter MMX 500 two-stroke. It has been testing around Jerez, the bike, which is a 576cc V4 engine producing 195 horsepower, weighing 127 kilo. And has an estimated top speed of 193 miles an hour. The owner of the company, Suter, was testing the bike himself around Jerez and stating that the bike's feeling pretty good and that with a decent rider on it, he believes that it could be inside the top 10 of the current MotoGP bikes. Because when he was riding it at Jerez, he was about 4.9 seconds of a Rossi's 500 lap record. And bearing in mind, he's a 50-year-old man who weighs about 50 kilos. But he did say that he thinks that if Marc Marquez would ride it, then he could be into the 139s. Rossi's 2001 500cc lap record was a 142.4, but a low 139 on the Suter would have put it ninth on the grid for the Jerez Spanish GP, which we had a couple of weeks ago in the current MotoGP field. So it's looking like a bit of a beast. I'm liking the look of it. Obviously, it's a lot more advanced than what the old 500s used to be, because they used to be absolute animals. But with electronics and all that kind of stuff, it's looking like a pretty quick bike. Whether we'll actually ever see it race is unsure, but if you happen to have a spare 120 grand, then you can go and buy yourself one and test it out for yourself. Okay, so a couple of days ago, Milestone announced that there is going to be an official MotoGP esports happening, but it's only going to be happening on the PS4, unfortunately. But to get into it, you have to beat a predetermined time set in the Red Bull Rookies Cup, Moto3 and Moto2 categories, to try and gain access for the online challenges, which is the second stage. So if you can put some decent lap times in with a Red Bull Rookies Cup, Moto3 and Moto2, that is the first stage. You can go on to the second stage, which will be the online challenges. There'll be 7 challenges set in specific circuits and with predetermined conditions, where only the best players will gain admission to the grand final. So if you do stage 1 well, you get into stage 2. If you do that well, then you can go on to stage 3, which is actually entering the finalist league. Now the interesting thing is that Milestone have said that they're starting off small with esports this year. So there's only actually going to be one proper race, which is going to be basically the final. So the other parts of it, stage 1 and 2, are all time trial based. But they have said that it will be 16. So the top 16 people from stage 2 that obviously gone through stage 1 will do the actual race at Valencia, and the whole thing will be broadcast live. And so it will be a race consisting of 16 people. Now that makes me wonder if MotoGP 17 is going to accommodate 16 people lobbies online, unless it's just something that they're specifically making just for esports, or whether the actual game is going to have 16 player online lobbies. Because obviously the previous games for years now have only been 12 players online. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. They did say that Dorna do want this MotoGP esports to eventually become the biggest racing esports, stating that Dorna's vision is to eventually obviously run a full season of esports coinciding with the actual MotoGP calendar, but also that all the official teams will have at least one esport player, as well as obviously their actual riders. So with Repsol Honda, obviously they're real riders, Marc Marquez and Dani Pedrosa, and then one other person in that team that will purely be their esports player. So every team should eventually have an official esports player who's actually part of the actual team, to take part in the esports, which is quite crazy. But the winner of this year's esport will win a BMW M420i. So that is the main prize up for grabs if you can get to the final and beat everyone. So if you need a new car and you're good at MotoGP, then you could win yourself a BMW M420i. But for those of you on Xbox One, don't you worry, I will be running a league as always on MotoGP 17. I will be doing a details video about how you can enter and the rules for the league and all that very soon. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to go on to sport now, and we've got some pretty horrible news going around at the moment. Unfortunately, Nicky Hayden was hit by a car whilst cycling in Italy whilst doing some training. Obviously the guys there have just had Imola, and he was unfortunately involved in an accident involving himself on a bicycle and a car, and it's left him in a really bad way. He's in a really critical stage at the moment, and they've had to put him in a induced coma. And yeah, I just really hope that he pulls through, because he's such a good rider. And he's such a nice bloke as well. Off track, he's such a gent. So fingers crossed for Nicky Hayden. I hope he does pull through, and I hope he has a speedy recovery. Obviously, most of you would have already known this, but it's just something I thought that I would bring up. So fingers crossed for Nicky Hayden. Let's hope he pulls through, because it's nowhere near his time yet. Right. On to the Northwest 200 now, which has come to an end. We've done the results of the first 3 races, which I've done in my last week's news. So let's go through the rest of the results from Friday and Saturday. So the second Super Sport race was won by Alistair Seeley. He was followed by William Dunlop in second place and Michael Dunlop in third. The first Superbike race was won by Alistair Seeley in first, Michael Rutter in second, and Lee Johnston in third. Then you had the second Super Twin race, which was won by Michael Rutter, Daniel Cooper in second, and Martin Jessup in third, who did win the first Super Twin race. The second Super Stock race was won by Alistair Seeley, closely followed by Ian Hutchinson, his teammate, in second place, and Michael Rutter in third. Top 5 all BMWs. And then the finale, the second Superbike race, which if you haven't watched it, do yourself a favour, treat yourself and go and watch it. It is such a cracking race to watch. I got to watch it the other day, and it's such a good race. Just seeing Hutchinson backing it into the chicanes, looking like he's a bit out of control, but always getting it stopped. You had Alistair Seeley on the final lap go onto the dirt at 170 miles an hour, and it was just a dogfight the whole race. But coming out on top was Glenn Irwin for the BYZ Ducati, his first Northwest 200. And he's got his first win with his BSB Racing Paul Bird BYZ Ducati. Second was Alistair Seeley, just under a tenth behind Irwin, so that's how close it was on his Tyco BMW. And then just behind them was Ian Hutchinson on the Tyco BMW as well. So, like I said, go and watch it. If you're in the UK, go and watch it on the BBC iPlayer. You'll find it under the category. If you do a search, type in bikes with an exclamation mark at the end, and then it will be under there. Because I did search for Northwest 200 myself, but didn't actually come up with anything apart from the subcategory bikes, and that's where it all is. So the Superbike World Championship was at Imola last weekend, and in Super Sport it was Sofawaglu who took the win again, followed by Mahias in second and PJ Jacobson coming home in third place. And then in the Superbike category you had Chaz Davis doing the double and showing a masterclass at Imola aboard his Aruba.it Ducati. He got first in both races, and in both races he was followed by Jonathan Ray in second place, And then in the first race, Melandri got third. And in the second race, Tom Sykes got third. So Davis, he actually tested one of the GP17 Ducatis as well. So he's been doing a bit of testing for MotoGP, as well as, like I say, giving a masterclass in the Superbike category at Imola. He just looked amazing and definitely unstoppable at Imola at the moment. This weekend it's also the World Endurance Championship at Oschersleben. So the Oschersleben 8 hour is this weekend. Yamaha hoping to go and do another 1-2 like they did at Le Mans 24 hour. And of course it is MotoGP this weekend at Le Mans. And it's they've had 2 free practice sessions so far, and it's been pissing down in both sessions. So it's looking like it may well be a wet race for this weekend. Moto3, obviously, Danny Kent returning with Red Bull KTM. He's been going pretty quick. Moto2, you've got Taron McKenzie making his debut. He's been getting to grips with the bike and the track. Obviously, not in the best conditions, but he's showing his speed already. And I'm sure with a few more laps under his belt and getting used to the bike even more, he's definitely going to start getting up the sharp end. And of course, MotoGP, you've got that really tight gap in the championship between Rossi, Marquez and Vinales. So it's going to be an interesting race on Sunday, but it's definitely should be a cracker. But like I said, it's looking very likely that it may well be a wet race. And considering it in the last podcast that we done, I did say that I would like to see a wet race, just to see what would happen. Obviously, Johan Zarco, it's his home race. I'm sure that he's going to try as best as he can to put on a performance for his home crowd. Sylvain Guintoli wildcarding on the Suzuki as well. And of course, Loris Baz, his home race, as well as Tech 3's home race as a team as well. But anyway, guys, that about wraps it up for this week's news. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave it a like. Subscribe to my channel for more content. I shall see you guys in the next race. See you guys in the next video. See you.